Okay, E3 is known for being loud, but there may be one booth that goes +1, goes all the way up to 11. I hate making that joke, but I feel I need to. I'm contracted to do so.
You had to go there.
I had to go there, didn't I? But now, we're for Rocksmith. What are you guys showing on E3 show floor today?
So last year we released Rocksmith for the US, and it's been doing really remarkable for us. You know, it was one of those games where some people said, you know, they're not gonna sell more than 10,000 copies. You know, because people have said it's a dying genre. The music games are dead and all that stuff. But you know, we believed that this title was gonna do really well, and so we put a lot of effort behind it and released it in the US in October. And you know, we've sold hundreds and hundreds of thousands, and so now we have a huge, massive users here. And now this year we're gonna be releasing it in Europe and Japan.
Fantastic. Now, can you just sort of, for the uninitiated of those who haven't seen this, can you sort of just walk us through exactly what the Sega is, the basic concept, and how it teaches you real guitar?
Right. I mean, the concept from the very beginning for us was anyone can learn how to play the guitar. And so we wanted to figure out a way for everyone, you know, whether if you've never touched a guitar before in your life, or if you're a decent guitarist, or somebody who's put it down for about 10 years, it's sitting in the closet, really dusty, but it's like, you know what? Take it out. Because all you need to do is have a guitar that has a 1/4-inch jack, and we supply the cable that will connect you to the console, and the game will actually recognize the signal that's being played by your guitar, and make sure that you know how to play.
Okay. Now, can you walk us through here? Just this is one of the songs being played, and we were talking just before we started the interview here about the leveling system and how it sort of tells you the notes to hit. Can you just sort of walk us through what's going on screen?
So what's going on right now is you're looking through the back of the guitar neck, and I know it's a little bit of a confusing concept when you say it like that, but the top string represents the top string of your guitar, which is the thickest string, and the lowest string is the bottom string of the guitar, which is your highest string. Now, when people with background in guitar sees that interface, they go, wait, isn't that backwards from tablature? Well, yeah, you know, tablature is a traditional way of playing or learning how to play the guitar and learning how to play music on the guitar. But for somebody who's never played the guitar before, you know, it seems backwards because, you know, the bottom is up and the top is bottom. And it works as a static medium, you know, tablature, because, you know, it's been around for hundreds of years. But the problem is, we're not in a static medium anymore. Yeah. This is not a static screen, it's moving, yes. Right? And so we have to reinterpret how our interface works. And so we completely turned it around because for somebody who's never played before, a 3D orientation makes a lot more sense because the top string is the top string and the bottom string is the bottom string. Now, what's happening right now is you have gems that are coming down the note way. So these are frets of the guitar that you see along here. And as the gems land on the string, so this is landing on the second string, and so you just put your finger where that gem is going to land on your guitar, and then as soon as that lands, you strum. It's as simple as that. We broke it down in terms of playing the guitar into the most bare essentials. And when we were talking to our resident guitar experts, okay, teach us how to play a song. Okay, so they said, okay, well, put your finger there. Now strum. Okay, now put your finger there, strum. There you go, you're starting to play. And so we approached the game in the same fashion. Now, the magic of our game is not just the interface, it's actually the system called dynamic difficulty. Now, dynamic difficulty is the system where we actually break the song into different sections. Because songs always have, you know, repeating sections of the same thing, whether it's the chorus, the bridge, the verse. Now, what we do is we're tracking your performance per section of the song. And so once you play one section of the song and you're playing it really well, the game recognizes that. And so the next time that section of the song comes up, even within that one play, the game will go, okay, you know how to play these notes that we're throwing you. We're going to give you a couple more. Oh, you got those right. Okay, we're going to give you a couple more. And until, you know, we're going to keep leveling you up until you get to the point where you're actually playing the entire section of that song. Or once you start struggling, the game recognizes that as well. And they'll go, okay, we're giving you enough notes. We're going to start tapering back. And that's the level that we're going to keep pushing you just a little bit enough to challenge you without boring you.
I was going to say, when you get to the point where you're doing blistering solos as well, you manages to keep up with that as well?
Absolutely. So the other great thing about Rocksmith is that because we're dividing the song into different sections, each section of the song has an appropriate number of levels for that section. So you know how most music games and rhythm games out there, you either have beginner, intermediate, hard, and expert, or maybe like one more, like pro mode or something like that. How do you divide all the songs in the world into 5 levels? You're gonna have massive gaps in levels. So in the beginner mode, it might be like one note a measure. It'd be very boring. You're sitting there going, okay, this is really boring. You can't get up to medium. Suddenly you're hit with like 10 notes in that same amount of time, and you're like, oh. And that's what happened to me all the time. I would sit there and play it and go, I can't keep up at a certain level. So I would always fall in between different levels. Well, in Rocksmith, you're not going to have that because we divide these sections specifically so that we can drip feed a note to you 1 at a time, 2 at a time, until you max out that phrase. So a simple verse like this may only have 3, 4 levels, but then when you get to a solo, let's say a Hangar 18 solo, that's going to have 30 levels. But the thing is, because the game is adjusting the level on the fly for you already automatically, you don't need to worry about, oh, I'm level 23. It's like, no, don't worry about it. Just keep playing, and just as the notes come.
Fantastic. Now, when this, like you said, it's already out in the US, it's coming out in Europe and Japan. When it hits Europe, what will be out? You'll have the retail disc, you'll have songs in that, and then there'll be DLC as well. What's the breakdown?
So in the European version, it's actually pretty cool because, well, the US audience got to play with it, for a year before it comes out. Well, we've made a lot of improvements based off of feedback that we've received from our players in the US. And not only that, we're actually adding a bass mode, so you can actually play with a bass guitar. So that's something that wasn't included in the US release. Not only that, if you don't have a bass guitar but you want to try out the bass mode, you have the ability to play with a emulated bass. Now what that means is you can use a regular 6-string guitar, but you can actually play the bass arrangements. And the game will actually take the sound of the guitar and drop it down an octave so that it sounds like bass. Because in the game we actually have this mode called the amp mode, where we actually have over 100 different pedals, effects pedals, over 30 cabs and amps, and you can combine those things to create your own custom sounds.
I think actually that's all the time we have for, unfortunately. Thank you very much indeed for the talk through.
Thank you very much.